You guys know how this goes by now. Another evening, another piece of info added to the ongoing Motorsport Games saga. It should be noted that I'm not making this series of videos because I have some sort of irrational hatred against the company or some of the people that work there. I just understand how big of a deal it is for all these major racing series to have been tied up with this company. Now, I also want to address some of the criticism I've received in making these Motorsport Games videos, particularly the fact that I pull information from Glassdoor reviews. First of all, Glassdoor is pretty strictly moderated, and second, the reviews I have read, you can tell these reviews are real because they address a couple of topics that kids writing troll reviews would just not be intelligent enough to mention. A good example of this, because Motorsport Games has offices on different continents, a lot of the reviews on Motorsport Games mention how they basically had no schedule and you always had to be on call as an employee ready to work on the game regardless of whether you were sleeping or just doing something in your personal life. This is such a petty, mundane detail about day-to-day workplace life that it's not something a kid trolling Motorsport Games would have the wherewithal to come up with. Anyways, on with the show. This review posted August 16th, 2022 reads just like the other reviews we've covered regarding Motorsport Games. In fact, I'm not even going to touch on all the bullet points because, quite frankly, we've heard them before. Management doesn't listen, there's no vision for the future, they're ignorant of timelines, but I want to draw attention to the second last bullet point here. Most days, there was supposedly nothing to do. The project has come to a standstill. Really soak in what this guy is saying here. We know that work is pretty much almost done on NASCAR Rivals, which will be a 2022 Switch-only release, but that was kind of a given. All they really had to do was repack a cheat with different car models and slightly different car physics, update the car textures and some track textures, and call it a day. This is something that modders could have realistically done on the PC. In fact, they already have. There's a 2022 mod out for the original NASCAR Heat, which came out in 2000. What this former employee is instead implying is that one of the big four projects they were slated to work on, whether it be either the NASCAR 21 expansion pack or NASCAR 23, the IndyCar game, the BTCC game, or the Le Mans game, they've just stopped working on it. So once again, for some of the younger kids who watch my content and maybe it's not really sinking in for them, if you're holding out hope for this NASCAR expansion that's supposed to release in a few months, or next year's NASCAR game, or the IndyCar game, or the Le Mans game, or the BTCC game, gotta hate having to say those all in one go. They're not even working on them. Their former employees are going and venting on Glassdoor that they weren't even doing anything at work their last couple of weeks. I'm actually starting to feel really bad though for some of the comments I've seen here and there on YouTube. They're not everywhere, but you'll notice them when you see them from either kids or just extreme casual racing game fans who claim they're either cautiously optimistic about the next set of titles from Motorsport Games or they're just going to wait it out and pass judgment when the game comes out. Bro, listen to me and repeat this section as much as you can until it sinks in. Their own employees are going online and venting that they're not doing anything at work and they think the company is a financial scheme. Imagine your dad comes home from work and he's like, yeah, I quit my job because I think the company I was working for was a scam. According to Glassdoor, this is what's happening weekly at Motorsport Games. At least one major project they have supposedly stopped working on. We obviously don't know what that project is, but sooner or later we're going to find out what it was. They have mentioned in their quarterly investor calls that based on the available cash on hand, they will restructure their roadmap. So as always, keep your eyes peeled on that on social media because they might make a stealth edit here and there that will get picked up by somebody. For the rest of you guys though, that's really the nugget of info I had to share today. A Glassdoor review from 2 days ago says that they're literally not doing anything at work. You don't need to have industry experience to know that this is not how game devs operate and that something is seriously, seriously wrong here, and when it all comes out, dear God, is it going to be a mess.